the former campaign manager of the UDP, now with the NPP a few weeks after his NPP lost in a by-election in the Kiangs, and of course we all know the sorry?
Point of correction. We did not lose in Kiang. Nothing was won or lost. The UDP retained their seat.
You lost?
We didn't lose.
You competed.
We actually gained 18% extra votes.
In every competition, there's a winner and a loser.
This one there was not, because there's a seat existing belonging to a party. They retained it. We did not lose. We gained an increase of 18% of votes compared to the previous election. All youths, and this future is definitely brighter for NPP in Kiang.
Okay.
Yes.
But when you take into account the amount of resources reportedly poured.
Reportedly, yes. I like your
qualification. Well, I wasn't there to confirm. Reportedly poured into the ward. I mean, that's a loss.
I was there. I didn't see those resources. I had to pull money out of my pocket to contribute to the process. There was no excess of resources. If there was any, knowing UDP and how they finance their campaigns outside the party's treasury from the diaspora, they just might have spent more than us.
About how much would you say they might have spent?
Well, perhaps 4 million. Perhaps in that range.
And you didn't spend anywhere near that amount?
No, not close to that.
And what about human resource deployment?
Well, they did their entire cabinet. We had 1 or 2 cabinet ministers. Their cabinet, their executive, which is the cabinet de facto, Lamin Mane, Talib Bensouda, Rohim Malik Lo, Yankuba Dabo, Landing Sane, even their chairman from North Bank, my grandfather, Seni Sabally, moved with his delegation to Kiang. They deployed more resources, both human and intangible, than NPP. But for some reason, the media just glossed over that.
Okay, and in terms of human resource deployment, what did the NPP deploy?
We did 1 or 2 ministers. Dr. Demba Sabally was there, Dr. Ismail Assise was there, and then it was just the campaign team, Lamin Cham as campaign manager, Dusano, organizing secretary. Some of us would just go for 1 or 2 days and cheer up the boys and come back.
The deputy speaker wasn't there?
The deputy speaker was there occasionally, 1 or 2 days.
I didn't hear you name him.
I mean, like, I'm mentioning the party's campaign structure. That's Lamin Cham and this guy. The deputy speaker came. He traveled, I think, twice within that campaign. That's it. Rohim Malik Lo was in the streets with our phone, going on Facebook Live, talking to people. Man, these people, they gave it their all and they retained their seat. Congrats to them for the retention.
Fantastic.
And Peter, congrats to these 2 young men who contested. Bakari Jaju, Lamin Jaju. Wonderful, decent, democratic to the core. They ran their campaign in a very civilized manner. And then they met and hugged each other. Peter, I think this is a huge win for democracy in this country.
Okay. And then there was the embarrassing situation of an NPP supporter, literally, from what you hear, insulting the whole of the Kiangs.
That was wrong. And I understand he apologized. It's wrong. It's unacceptable. That has no place in our democracy.
Okay. Because it would have turned the argument of UDP being the insulting party to NPP now being the insulting party.
It's just one rare incident, and I'm glad Bahum apologized. We cannot, even NPP as a party, we don't encourage or accept those kind of behavior.
Okay, all right. In the past week or so, we've had the UDP's Secretary General and party leader give his first press conference of the year, and then of course we took 2 days here on Coffee Time to dissect, the press conference hinged on 7 key points that were discussed here by Larry Cisse. I mean, some of the charges made were of political nature. You listened to the press conference. What's your response to some of the? I heard one of your colleagues say attempts to make cheap political points.
Yes, I think for once I'm a bit surprised that UDP would do a press conference of political nature in the first 10 days.
They've always done press conferences, even when you were there.
Peter, let me learn.
Okay,
go ahead. In the first 10 days of Ramadan,
Dalal Ajama.
When usually we want to tone down the political rhetoric, even Momodou Sabally was trying to tone down, they came up with this. Interesting. I read the talking points. I don't know why they did it, but they actually released their talking points, and it gave me the time to go and look at all.
They would say they've always been transparent.
Well, I don't know about that, but this time I saw talking points, and when I read through them, I was actually further even more convinced in the right track that President Barrow has put in this country in terms of socio-economic development, democracy, human rights, freedom of information, freedom of speech, and everything. I think definitely, for once I saw, once again, the advantage of an opposition party trying to hold a government accountable. Because if you look at all those points, they started off with trying to downplay the importance of us as a nation celebrating 60 years of independence. I said, God, for a country that was thought to be unviable as a sovereign state at independence until a certain European author brought this title of Enter Gambia, birth of an improbable nation. 60 years down the line, a functioning economy, foreign policy, top of the agenda, chairman OIC, a university, hospitals, schools, you name it. And then during that 60th anniversary celebration, we are inaugurating state-of-the-art road, Bartel Harding, not even in Senegal, nowhere in the sub-region. High voltage.
Not even in Senegal.
I saw a Senegalese what's on Gambia probably. He came out taking a video of this highway. Senegal and Asuny Halis we
they're just being
personal witness. High voltage transmission station in Jabang, digital, moving away from analog, inauguration of classrooms. Hey, Gachengalama, Gambia. Yeah, as a republic, we had every right to celebrate this. When even Peter, we have Gambian youths scoring goals on a weekly basis in the Premier League, in the Saudi League with Cristiano Ronaldo, Daniel Estad, and 207 million at Fill Up Q City. Peter, the youths are very happy in this country under his peacefulness.
On the road network, come on. Bartel Harding Highway.
Peter.
It has more, equals in Senegal than just one.
With tolls, they pay for it when they built it in Senegal.
That's all right.
President Barrow Abaraka
maybe we should toll this road so
Peter,
that we can ensure its maintenance.
Peter, you are already blaming us for taking too much tax from you. If we give us a free ride, just take it. It's a complex global economic situation, but this is Gambia's edge over these other countries.
Okay.
And it's not just Bartel Harding, Peter, the connecting roads. Yesterday, I had guests from Brusubi. They were just amazed. They said, we just got here in 5 minutes because of these connecting roads all over, Peter. Electricity, Koina to Kartong. In Sabah Sanjal, we are going to declare ourselves a city-state very soon.
The criticism of our independence celebrations were the celebrations per se or the amount spent on the celebration?
The ethos of it was there was nothing to celebrate. That's what they are saying. And I said this is not just a critique on Barrow, it's on Sadaura, Kairaba, Jawara, and every other person who contributed to the building of this nation.
Okay, what about criticism of the budget for the celebration?
Well, the budget for the celebration, I wish they understood the breakdown of this budget. I was in the committee.
Make us understand.
Money was used for repairs of McCarthy Square that was supposed to be done by a local council run by this opposition. They just let it run down like that. McCarthy Square is iconic. We spent money to rehabilitate that place, give a facelift to not only McCarthy Square but also the quadrangle, the arch that has had issues of maintenance. We poured in money because it's a strategic national asset with security implications. We pumped in money to rehabilitate that. We did this at the lowest possible cost by engaging the maintenance and engineering units of the police and the National Army. And they were all so happy for it, to see themselves part of this thing. The money was well spent, Peter.
Sabs, where do you stand on this diaspora voting brouhaha?
Interesting, Peter. I think you realize that I've actually not spoken about it virtually so far. I think the narrative is a bit lopsided in that, Peter, nobody is denying diasporans from voting. Every Gambian diaspora can come home here and vote. That is the reality.
Yeah,
what we are talking about is the convenience aspect of it.
Yes.
This is where there is disagreement. So let's get that clear so that the debate can be conducted on a fair and balanced platform, as our late brother Panderi would say. Now, the thing went to the National Assembly. They did not agree. Some voted against it based on...
Because it's NPP dominated.
It's not just NPP.
No, it's
there are
NPP,
also independents in this, Peter. Let's be fair.
No, we're saying NPP dominated.
Hallelujah. We are the majority in the House.
Yes.
But these people feel that because of a constitutional provision that has been met, we cannot go ahead with this. It's an issue of process. What came out of it is a debate which I saw as generally healthy, apart from a few people bullying our National Assembly members, and I think that's unfair. But let the debate carry on. Me, Momodou Sabally, I want diaspora voting because I believe President Barrow will have more votes if the diaspora voting is conducted in that convenient way.
That's not the
where's the beef?
The perception of others.
Well, they have the right, Peter. That's the beauty of democracy.
They feel that you people feel that 95% of Gambians in the diaspora are anti-NPP.
Not quite. I think this is their own misconception. Maybe they think Seattle is the only constituency in the diaspora.
Why Seattle?
Well, I know because maybe some people feel they have more supporters there. And they may be surprised.
Who are these some people?
The opposition and the UDP. And they might be surprised, actually, if that got to happen, President Barrow just might beat them because the side silent majority is all there, and I learned that the hard way in 2021, Peter.
What happened in 2021?
2021, we had this rowdy majority on social media, on the grounds, ambience and everything. By the time the whistle was blown, we were dumbstruck. So appearances can be deceptive. Let them be careful about this diaspora voting. I think in all fairness, they should vote. We have probably, you know, Peter, when I woke up today on my coffee, I said, there's one thing I like about PDIS.
You had coffee what time?
At 5 a.m. because I know you would not offer me, Peter. So this is not the first time you are denying me my right. So when it comes to legality and due process, let's follow the rules. Let's not force it. Let's not force it.
Okay.
But, yes.
On the sale of strategic state
You are still
assets.
using that word after your interview with the Honorable Finance Minister, Peter.
Yes, strategic state assets, because
Yes.
this will come, you know, I mean, during the campaigning. I mean,
Absolutely.
this selling of state assets.
Peter,
I mean,
you are still using that word. The minister explained to you the legal and financial definitions.
remember,
of this.
I am putting UDP claims to you,
Okay.
all right, to address politically.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yes.
I just love the way Honorable C.D. Keita clarified this thing. Nothing is sold. Concessions and leasing is what's happened. And CD put in something here. You know, we need to raise the national conversation beyond just finger pointing into ideology, into philosophy. Why do states lease or get into concession agreements about state institutions? It's because of the evidence-based reality that our public corporations in LDCs have failed us. CD mentioned GPMB, he mentioned NTC, and other public institutions that have failed. Why? And I know this from my basic undergraduate economics, the misalignment of incentive mechanisms. When private businesses run their businesses like Peter Gomez would do, Peter would hire 10 staff to run this radio, whilst if it's a public corporation, the state would hire 30.
Or even 100.
Or even 100.
Yeah.
So it's about efficiency. This is the argument. And, you know, some of these people arguing, I've learned this the hard way. So especially some of these young intellectuals, you talk of GPMB, they don't know what GPMB is. So if you don't know the history of the country, it will be very difficult for you to chart another way forward. I think CD gave you the numbers as to what's happening and why this is happening, foregoing current revenue, like he said, at the ports, so that we can build assets that will give us future revenue. I think this is fantastic. The issue of Gamtel-Gamcel. Peter, you don't need to go to Harvard to know that Gamtel-Gamcel is no longer viable as an ongoing concern. Whether, for me, not even concession, if you can sell Gamtel-Gamcel under the circumstances, and knowing, like Siri said here, he said we're giving them, what, $10 million. What could $10 million do in Nyanija, in Kiang, the most remote area of this country? If those institutions can be leased out, I totally agree with it.
Okay. Well, you're one of the president's advisors.
Yes.
The case of Kemo Conte was brought up. I mean,
What about it?
He's a member of the Public Service Commission. But he's also is vice chair of the GRT Board of Directors or Board of Governors.
What is GRT?
And GRTS, sorry. Did I say GRTS? All right.
Our former home, you and I.
GRTS Board of Governors, or is it Board of Directors?
Yeah.
And that, according to the UDP party leader, is in violation of the Public Service Commission code.
Well, this is the first time I'm hearing this. I'll have to verify the facts.
Did you listen to the...
I listened to it, but this part I did not hear.
Yeah, we even featured that clip.
Yeah, well, I didn't listen to that. What I'm saying is this is the first time I'm hearing it. And I know UDP had made a few gaffes in that presser. At least one of them, they apologized for it. The others, they just let them slide. So I don't know.
Which gaffes and which one did they apologize for?
The Bintanjai gaff, the NRA GRA gaff that CD actually helped them to clarify here. So I'm not sure. But if in case this is the case, what I know for sure, Peter, without the shadow of a doubt, and you're addressing me as presidential advisor, I know President Barrow all the time, anytime we go by the rule of law. I know Kemo's case, for instance.
It's been over a week. They could have looked into it.
Just a week with the president have Oribakso more than 1 million files on his desk. You know, so anyway, what I'm saying here is President Barrow, take it to the bank. He will always do what is right. If it has happened, maybe it's an oversight. Kemo was in the NPP executive. What happened? He resigned because President Barrow wants to do things by the book. I'm just hearing this. Perhaps, just perhaps, the president has heard. If that is the case, I don't have a doubt that President Barrow will correct it.
Okay. About the gaffes you spoke about, quite apart from Bintanja and NRA, what other gaffes, might they have?
Well, these are the two that have popped up yet. I'm sure there are others.
Okay.
Yes. And there's this other one I saw, Peter. I found that actually ridiculous. The UDP is claiming that the Gambia government is relying on taxes, loans, and grants. What else could a developing country rely on, even middle-income country, other than taxes, loans, and grants?
Its own resources. We used to have cotton. We used to have groundnuts.
Those groundnuts are being grown and sold by private operators. We cannot go and confiscate their resources. Hello. We tax them and put it into...
You talked about GPMB.
GPMB, yes. It's a public concern.
It's still there in a different...
We privatized it and then brought it back again. And luckily, President Barrow, I think in less than a month, was there. Peter, I was amazed at the progress these young people have made, including processing of groundnut into crude oil for export. We are making progress.
When the farmers are not happy?
The farmers are very happy.
The farmers are not happy.
The farmers are
complaining. They have given, you their products, the state their products, and they're not getting money back.
The products are being bought. I think there were technical constraints in terms of receiving, cashing out, because once the transaction is done, it's actually in your account. But I know presidential instructions were given to resolve that, and after that, I've heard testimonies that the situation has
we are
improved.
still getting, particularly the Foreign newspaper occasionally talking about farmers not being happy because they still have not, received their money.
Okay, Peter, if we have 1,000 farmers and 10 farmers are complaining, that's an A+, but still, like I said, the president is keeping his eyes on this, and he's giving direct instructions because the president wants everybody to be happy.
We have only 2 minutes left. How would you like to... use those 2 minutes?
Well, the UDP presser again on the budget, criticizing the government about the budget, when those making these statements have no idea about budgets. They've never compiled budgets, never implemented.
They have no idea about budgets.
No ideas, Peter.
Larry
has no budget. He was a UNDP economist, attending meetings and conferences. You, Peter, I am telling
Seriously?
you actually have to work on a budget, a national budget, to know it. Let Larry bring his CV and show you where he's worked at the budget office of the Ministry of Finance. Never. No. What I am telling you, let me just...
UNDP, he was...
UNDP, what do you do? Momodou Sabally compiles the budgets. A syndicator presents it, it's approved, and you get a copy just like Peter gets. What do you understand about it that Peter doesn't?
Larry does not understand.
He doesn't know it. If he knew it, he would not making the claims that he's making.
Oh, wow.
And let me learn, Peter, because you told me only 2 minutes, and I really wanted to speak about this. You are criticizing us about the budgets. We have a deficit of 1.4%. Across the border is 7%, for God's sake. And then the EU comes in through a press release giving us more than 700 million Dalasis as budget support, as the finance minister confirmed here yesterday, giving out the reasons that they've seen improved public policy, improved budget oversight, improved public finance management and budget transparency. Peter, that's a distinction for the Gambia government in terms of budget formulation, implementation, and reporting. And the youths are very happy with it.
They think they will win 2026.
Well, just like they thought they would win 2021. If wishes were horses, Peter, beggars would fly. But Barrow is here to stay. Momodou
Sabally, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, Peter.
All right, and that brings us to the end of Coffee Time with Peter Gomez this morning. Thank you for the pleasure of your company. We'll be back tomorrow.